Welcome to the French Drain Man channel. I'm Robert Sherwood. I just want to go over a few tips for your roof runoff system. We like using these vents. I'll explain why. When you're having a really big rain event, I mean the water's coming down in sheets. You have sheet water coming off the roof. Normally it overwhelms the gutters above and then the water pours right next to the foundation of the house. You end up with a flooded basement over this. Now, I like to use the example of how a gas can works. If you go to pour gas out of a gas can and you don't open the vent on it, what happens? You don't move very much fluid. The same thing works for downspouts. So you want to vent them so that you can maximize the amount of water. This way you'll never ever be in a situation where you have that cascading effect. This also helps you in the north. If you freeze up, you have an ice buildup, we have a thaw above ground, the water can escape. So I love this. Again, easy to access. We can run cameras through it. There's just benefit after benefit. And with the Boffman Tile Classic Y, I mean, we love the Boffman Tile Company's Classic Y for this. We love their 2x3x4 with the trim ring gutter adapter, and then we use a little piece of the Boffman Black for up top here. Then we tile tape it so shrubs, trees can't get in, the roots can't bother this system. And our high octane solid, the French Drain Man High Octane HD, manufactured by the Boffman Tile Company, is what is connected to that. So we always run more than one downspout to a main line. The reason why we do that is because the more water you can move through the main line, the cleaner you can keep it. Now here is a D-box. What the D-box does, and it stands for distribution box. We have one downspout coming off the house from that direction, and the one I just showed you up by the porch is coming in right here. And this is a main line going out into the front yard far away from the house. So this D-box, distribution box, this is a beautiful installation done by the FDM team. You can see at the bottom, they drilled some holes so that the water after a rain event would slowly be taken in by the subsurface soil. Even clay takes in some water. That's why it gets soft and turns to pudding when it absorbs water. So we're not asking the clay in this area to take in that much water. Just this little basin full, it will take it in. Now this is going to really help collect all that shingle gravel is going to fall into the bottom. We love these 12-inch rounds, and we like them with the solid covers. The reason why we like them with the solid covers, worms crawl in the ones with the grates, and they smell rank. It's horrible, and it becomes a mosquito hatchery. So we just take the solid cover, screw that down in place. Now you're not dealing with a mosquito hatchery, a petri dish, something that's unsafe for your pets, your children. And nobody wants to stick their hands in a basin full of dead worms that's totally rank. So here's another distribution box. We have one of the Y cleanouts. Man, look at how nice that looks. I wish Boffman Tile Company would make the trim ring also in the 3x4x4. I mean, I encourage it because they do have the nicest looking gutter adapter in the 2x3x4, but the 3x4x4 doesn't have the trim ring. So hopefully it's something that's in the works in the future. But here we got a nice vent. You know, you can run a camera through it. You know, it acts as a clean out. Very neat, very clean. Then the main line goes under the sidewalk out into the yard. So what will that D-box collect? See, we got electric and communication right here. So we stopped with our polylock pop-up right here. Okay, so this came out of the old pipes. It's shingle gravel. Look at all the shingle gravel. This all poured out of a plugged pipe that no longer worked here in the front. This can sit in the bottom of that D-box and your system will work just fine. That's why we put those distribution boxes in. They catch that shingle gravel and big debris And you can take the lid off and clean it with your shop vac as often as you want, or life can happen and get busy, and those 12-inch round are 16 inches deep, just under 16 inches deep. Honestly, years can go by and it'll keep working for you. So we're replacing triple wall. I mean, triple wall sounds so strong, right? I mean, but it's a flimsy pipe. It doesn't have no UV protection, so it just cracks when used for gutter downspouts. I mean, this thing was plugged. I mean, besides this being garbage pipe for a roof runoff system, and I do not recommend it, it wasn't installed right. So I also gotta make mention of that. But see how, here's a perfect example. Do you see that? It's not protected against the sun. The sun just eats it away. And I mean, this doesn't take long. I mean, this house isn't that old. It's a beautiful, beautiful home in Washington Township, Michigan. And this whole thing just deteriorated above ground, the underground plugged with shingle gravel. You know, there was no D boxes to catch debris. You need the distribution boxes. You need to put 2 downspouts together to keep the line flush clean. All these things matter. These are all the key things that make a really, really good install for a roof runoff system. So, as you can see, this one was holding a lot of water because it was plugged with shingle, gravel, and debris. It didn't have a D-box. So we'll put a D-box in it. That way, you know, we can clean this out later. And again, we run it as far away from the house as we can. We're going to take it another 3 feet and just right before the utilities. We stop at the utilities. And we're going to put a distribution box right here to basically catch all the shingle, gravel, and debris. All right, I want to talk about downspouts. I want to talk about distribution boxes, why the D box is so important. We have a couple of really big runs on the back of this home. I'm in the backyard. We have some long gutter runs. We like to vent our downspouts. Just like pouring gas from a gas can, you really need to have a vent to move the maximum amount of water. So we vent it, and we can also run a camera through this crazy easy if need be, which is normally not the case. So a D-box, we'll use the solid cover more than anything, because that way there's not dead worms, there's no mosquitoes for kids and dogs to get into, nothing's breeding. It's nice. Once in a while, when you have to have surface water gathered, our D-boxes will be the great. Now this is a discharge, so this is the discharge end of that downspout. This is the minimum that we use now, the 6-inch round. And what's great is, you know, a couple times a year, the rain will rain so hard, it'll blow this right off, and shingle, gravel, and everything just ends up in the grass. It's no big deal. I have a lot of people that call me and say, should this happen? Yes, it's meant to happen. You don't want to screw those down and screw them on. You want them to blow off during those torrential rains. So here is another really, really long run. A lot of rooftop water. These are the only 2 downspouts for the back of this house. So we have our traditional vent, and this is a 2x3x4 downspout. There's our D-box right there. That's going to collect the majority of leaves during the fall. You know, when the bigger trees in the neighborhood are dropping their leaves. We got a couple maples over here. I don't have to worry about it. Those trees can get to be giants. The water, when it's really, really moving during a torrential rain, a flash flood, something that you see a couple times a year, this lid will just blow right off. When you're mowing your grass, just put it back on and just be happy that nature cleans your downspouts for you. So I like to put a couple of downspouts on the shorter runs. That's a shorter run up there. So we have a couple of downspouts on one pipe so that we can move enough water. So here you can see the vent pipe. We have some ventilation. We're going to move the maximum amount of water. If we ever need to scope that, run our camera through it, which again, I doubt. Here's the other one. This is our blue, royal blue, high octane, royal blue yard drain pipe, and this is the solid, non-perforated. And there's a D-box. Super easy to just take 4 screws out and shop vac this out. It's just a little under 16 inches deep. These are my favorite. I love them. Literally, life can happen. 5 years can go by, and it doesn't matter. That thing will hold pounds and pounds and pounds of shingle gravel. Here's another 6-inch round. That's our minimum now, because grass grows over the pop-ups too quick. The homeowners don't have enough time to react to that. The whole thing just turns into a mess. So this is pretty cool. We have a downspout right here, and I mean, this thing moves. This thing really moves the water. I'm telling you, there's so much water in the valley above. It's unbelievable how much water that thing sees. This one doesn't see as much. So we hooked them together. So we got our vent. Not really worried about that pipe not staying clean, because we brought it right to this distribution box right here. And we also brought that one to this distribution box. And then we ran the main line under the walkway to another 6-inch round. This is not an inlet basin, as I know there's going to be people that say, hey, you always talk about not putting inlet basins in your system. Well, one, that's my French drain systems. Inlet basins in my downspouts aren't a problem. So this one we had to dig under the walk, but get this. There was already a pipe on this downspout. The previous owner used the wrong pipe. There was a perforated pipe, which I see this a lot used, sadly. So the cement has, really shifted and moved. These expansion joints have really opened up, and it was because there was a perforated pipe and not a solid pipe under that walk. So we put a solid pipe under the walk to this D box, and then we ran it to one of our 6-inch round. Now, depending on the size homes, sometimes we get into homes in Oakland Township, Michigan. There's going to be 5,000, 7,500 square foot homes. You're going to see us use our 9x9s a lot. But I just wanted to show everybody this is the right way to do a roof runoff system. See that corner? Look at that long gutter up there. Okay, so I'm going to point something else out to you. The second story. That gutter just dumps right on top of the roof on the first story. So you got the second story and the first story coming down right here. That is a lot of water. So yeah, we treat each and every downspout the same. They get a D box. They get our Y combo with the vent and the grate. Again, this is a 2x3x4 gutter, which is, this is the most common here in Michigan. A 2-inch by 3-inch by 4. That's what that means. 2-inch by 3-inch, and then here, 4-inch. 2x3x4, okay? So we sell these combos. We have them in just about all the sizes. There's a few funny sizes that we don't see too often that we may not carry. But let me show you how these D-boxes work, because we were on another job in Francisco, took the lid off and ran water to show you guys. Okay, the FDM team just got done running downspouts away from the house and the brickwork. There was this downspout to a pop-up right here. The grass grew over the pop-up and it was doing damage to the brick pavers. They got nice brick paver edging. And then there's one that runs under the patio, and there's another one right here. And they had one dumping right here, doing damage to the brick edging, and then another one right here. So unfortunately, it wasn't ran far enough away from the house. So they heard about us, they got a hold of us. What we did is we went ahead and we ran all three of them together. And I'm going to show you guys some video during. This is a D-box. I'm going to show you how a D-box works, but first I want to take this opportunity to explain. This catches shingle gravel. Now how that works is the pipe that's going into the D-box, and we're going to say the pipe that's upstream, okay? That's downstream as the water flows on this system. But upstream, this pipe, the guys cut it out. They cut out the D-box on the top setting. Then this one, they go ahead and drop it down and they cut it out on the second knockout on the D-box. So I'm going to show you guys some video. We ran some water through the system. You're going to see how the water pours through the higher pipe and falls to the bottom in the D-box, the distribution box, and then it flows into the lower pipe and then goes downstream. I'll show you what we did, and I'm going to show you what we're doing. I'm finding that pop-ups, no matter who makes them, they're just too hard to maintain, and the grass always grows over them. So everything now is going to a 9x9. So every new piece of media that I edit and put out for you guys, you're going to notice we're discharging with a 9x9. So this is not an inlet basin, it's an outlet basin. And it's a little wet around here because we ran the system for that video for you. And you know what? Let's take you to that right now.